Yep.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Board of Selectmen's meeting for Tuesday, May 12th, 2015. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. If we could we take a moment of silence to reflect on our duties as elected officials for the town, and also to keep in mind our servicemen and women both overseas and in the United States, and hope for their safe return. Thank you. In accordance with Mass General Law, I have to note that this meeting is being recorded by the Selectmen's Office and also by East Long Meadow Cable Access, and I have to ask if anyone else in the audience is recording it. Seeing none, we can proceed. Our first item is the public forum, and we have one person signed up, John Turner. Mr. Turner, would you like to come up? Oh, you sorry, we're a few minutes late.
That's okay. Supper's not going to be ready till 7.
Okay, there you go. Well, nothing personal, but you're not getting 45 minutes.
No, that's why I pass those things. Kind of not that, because Mrs. Thorpe has taken the initiative on some of these old things that have passed in, and some of them aren't resolved, that he said, but basically, he's batting average is, 50%, which is, 500 in baseball, but that's only for your batting average.
That's right.
That's for your team average, okay? And I'd like to know if I can take pictures and file. If you say nothing is found, can I take pictures and go to the next level with that?
Actually, these are, you reviewed these, right?
I did.
Okay, so these are all, so since you sort of took the reins on this, I'll let you.
Well, what I did is I went out to Mr. Turner and I had sat down and come up with 8 addresses and complaints to address right on point. I did go out at different times. I will tell you that on my way back, the first one, I did see it. Okay. It was not there multiple times, and I think there lies the rub. When Mr. Hellyer goes out, it may not, the violation may not be there. So sometimes it's a matter of when you go. And I did go at different times, and I went 3 different times, and this is the one time just happened to be driving by there this afternoon and saw it.
I can take pictures and date them and do them all the same day and give you times on them, but
yeah.
Unless, trust me.
No,
but
the one
costs but about 75 cents to have them printed.
Well, the ones that are unresolved, I would send that over to Mr. Hilliard and have the liaison go ahead and follow up with those to get those off the books totally. The ones that are resolved, they're resolved. I mean, especially where the fence was built. There was a fence that was placed up, and it looked like a new fence, I will say that.
You had 5 years to get it done. That's the only problem there.
But the good thing is that it's done now.
It should have been done in that 5-year
I won't dispute that, but right now, when I went out there, it was done, so it is resolved.
That's
so
fine. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to even talk about complaints. I fired 4 of these over that. Some of them are here. Over to Mr. Hellier will get them when he comes back from vacation or whatever.
Okay.
I tried to give them to his secretary, but she wasn't in this afternoon. Okay, I just want to talk from a financial thing. That's why I put these things in this order. Okay? And if you look at the date on the top, it's September of 2013. Okay? Mr. Hellier sent him a letter in June of 2014. And here it's 2015, and it's May, okay? So that's for that. And supposedly, he sent him a ticket, but no tickets, and he's supposed to send on the second day another fine, the third day, fourth day, fifth day, and continue to send these fines until the person corrects the problem. In order to do that, he has to write tickets. He's only written 6 tickets. They have never gone to the town treasurer's office where they would be collected because they're added to your tax bill. They're sitting in a letterbox out here in the selectman's office. Potentially, these 4, just the top 4, have the potential of collecting $500,000 in revenue, over $500,000. And I know that if they were actually fined and they were added to, and we followed the proper protocol, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, and then into perpetuity until you do something about it, all of these things would have been fixed a long time ago. And it's costing the town an awful lot of money, and Mr. Hellier picks the ones he wants to do and the ones he doesn't want to do. It's just like the last one in here. He never investigated. I've got probably 10 at home that he never investigated. Has he fixed? Yeah.
And I know this is just you're supposed to state your case and then we'll follow through on it. But were these some of your originally filed, ones you filed like last year, the year before?
2 years ago.
Okay, so now we had another taxpayer in at the same time as you at one point saying that he went on the town records and identified that every one of these had been looked at in one form or another. So you're saying he hasn't done anything about it. So I think what we should do is maybe through the liaison is just make sure that, because obviously this other taxpayer found out somewhere that there was something done to these regarding these properties, if I remember correctly. So somewhere there's like a disconnect information-wise. So if we can get that resolved, that might help the problem.
But every one of those tickets, and according to the law that Mr. Hellier put in this letter on the 3rd page, he didn't follow through on anything, right here. This is the letter that he sent out for the 6 tickets that he did, okay? And when you can go out there today, 2 years later, and see the same problems.
Well, once again, we'll have to follow through with it, because just because the same vehicle's there doesn't mean that he hasn't tried to do something about it. Once again, we can't force people to.
You can, the law says that you fine them.
Yeah.
The law says that that's what you
I
have to do.
understand that.
And as selectmen, your duty is to you take the oath of office and you have to support that law. He hasn't stepped to step 1 on most of them that he said you're in violation and he sent letters to. He's never went to step 2, and not one of those $600 tickets that he wrote has ever gone down to be collected.
Okay.
It's kind of like you get a ticket from a state trooper, and he writes a ticket.
No, you
but he
said
doesn't
there's
pass it in.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. You said there's copies of them in the selectman's office.
There.
The tickets.
I looked in. They were in a book.
Okay, but do you know that they haven't gone to the clerk's office?
Yes, I've been to the clerk. I've talked to
They
him.
haven't?
They
Okay.
have not.
Okay.
And that's something internally that needs to be
Okay.
corrected. So, because the clerk, I did speak with the clerk, and he said, once he receives them, he will go ahead and send them out, because that is where he
Okay.
picks up on it. We had backtracked to go over the things, that's where we were with the 8 things. So now this should go through the ticket,
Right.
through Mr. Helliard, and then the ticket should be copied and sent immediately over to the treasurer's office.
Okay.
So this is like a fresh, we started afresh because there were so many from before. So this is the first 8. So out of that 8, there would be, I think there's 4 possibilities.
Yep. And I think some of those are already in here for.
And back to Mr. Turner's point, after 2 years, he can refile some.
1 year, I can.
After 1 year, he can refile them. So I'm not going to put words in his mouth, but I would suspect that one or several of the ones in our packet will be filed again. And so when if we keep following the procedure, we should be okay.
Okay, so what we'll do is follow up on those tickets, and then, and the ones that are unresolved, and see what are being done about them, if they haven't already been, or if they're not part of the ticketed people.
So, and I, before I go, and I'm not gonna belabor this, but I am gonna go, chapter 20 of Mass Law, which tells you what you can do and as you can't do, as, familiarized myself with it. And I've talked to a few lawyers. It's just a chance of me bringing in a good friend of mine to talk. I've got 3 or 4 good friends that are lawyers. I've also got a son-in-law who's a lawyer. I could have him do it because he owes me a lot, but he's in Connecticut, and it's not legal for him to practice law in Massachusetts.
Plus you don't
Florida and California you can do, but not Massachusetts.
He's smart. You don't want to get licensed in Mass, you want to get licensed in Florida and California, so you can plan your retirement.
Yeah. But anyway, there will be someone coming in because he has the right to go on property. And there's nothing in there about you can use those stupid signs that I put in the thing. I thought those are really good. Okay?
Okay.
And
Very good. But obviously,
and-
next, if you do want to bring somebody in, talk to, well, probably won't be Nick at that point. But
Yeah, by the way, how's it moving along? I was surprised to see you here.
Listen, Mr.
Only because I haven't been able to do anything for to read. I had my knee replaced.
Oh, okay.
So I haven't been very mobile.
I expect to start on June 1st.
Congratulations. Okay?
But in any event, if you do want to bring somebody in, don't do it in the open forum, obviously. Try to, schedule a time, because so you can have more than 5 minutes, so.
Yeah,
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
yeah, okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Did I stay under 5 minutes? Close.
Or late, doesn't matter.
I took 3, 4, and 5 on the agenda.
That's all right. I'm a blank.
If you let me know your next 10, Mr.
Yep.
Turner.
Yep.
Let's start on those.
Now, is he still working in those other 4?
He will be, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Next on our agenda is the fire chief.
How are you? He's old. See you again. Good evening. How are you?
Okay, you are here for a couple items here, sir.
One and the same.
Yes.
One and the same.
You have a retirement.
We have a retirement. Unexpected. He was planning on another 4 or 5 more years. As you can see from the letter, something came up. So July 2nd is the date. We're still going back and forth with a few final details as far as that goes, but it looks like that's going to be the date for his retirement. His last day. Again, Sean, has been a valued member of the department since 19. I had that today. I don't know if I put it on the letter.
Is it 30 plus?
Yeah, 30 plus years, right? So he started with the call department like most of us did, and just worked his way up through the ranks. So he'll be missed. He's got a lot of talent, a lot of experience. He's a great firefighter.
And he wore many hats.
He wore a lot of
Pun
hats.
intended, but he wasn't
No,
a
he
mechanic.
wore a lot of hats, and he's still today. Ed's the mechanic. Ed's doing a great job, but it's nice to have Sean there with that advice. And Ed, this is what you do here. So, and people move on, and people are ready to move forward. So
Yep.
that's good.
Okay.
With that said, replacement. We don't want to miss without. Several people have, said their interest in the position. My estimate would probably be, because potentially there could be 2 openings, one for Sean, say on July 3rd, and another one depending on how the vote goes on Monday night at the town meeting, for sometime in October. So my estimate is probably 6 or 7 guys are going to be going for the job from the call department, which is a great number. Like I've said in the past, the call department's a great long-term interview process. We know who they are, we know how they operate, we know how they work at fires, personalities and all that. So I would tonight, I guess, ask permission to solicit, post it, the position. And as in the past, we've if there's more than 4, we've narrowed it down. I bring a few chiefs in, we conduct an in-house interview, knock it down to 4. My ultimate request would be that if it does pass next Monday, we change that to looking for 2. and we do this process once. We pick the person that's replacing Sean. He can go through the process, the physical, the PAT. The other person can do that right after the 1st of July, next year's budget, which is budgeted for. He in turn wouldn't start working until October to that exact same time frame, but that position is picked and we have the process done. We don't have to do it twice. It's the same pool of people. Again, I'll post it singly today, and if it goes through Monday and
Post another one?
the town votes in favor of it, I'll just change the posting.
Okay.
If we could do things, I saw on the agenda you have a meeting for May 26th. That might be a little soon. I'll check with, I guess, Lorraine for the first meeting in June. And at that point, I'll have my portion done, and we'll schedule interviews. We'll have it down to 4 at that point. Schedule interviews with the
Okay.
board.
All right.
Does that?
That sounds good.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I'd like to make I'd like to propose a motion to allow the fire chief to post the vacancy for the full-time firefighter within the fire department.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Just wondering if you wanted to add the vacancy, well, the new one also,
Position if it becomes voted
if it becomes voted.
next Monday.
Okay. Yes. We'll do one right now, and then we'll amend it. Actually, we should do it now.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll amend the motion to allow for, should the town vote in favor of extending the hours of the fire department, to allow for allow the chief to look for to fill 2 vacancies as of immediately, I guess. Start the search process.
Conduct the process.
Conduct-
Yeah,
yes.
the process.
So
One
moved.
is start in July and one is start in
Yep.
October. He's moved it, I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye. So
Very
we
good.
just voted on the amendment.
Right.
And now we
All in
vote on
favor,
the-
let's see, all in favor of the original amendment, or original motion?
The amended motion.
I thought we just voted on the amendment.
We voted on it for it to be amended,
Yes.
and now it's amended, so now we're voting on that.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. You're all done?
All done. Briefly, I saw on the agenda you have the Memorial Day ceremony. I actually coordinated with Colin today in the Legion. We do have that nice new PA system available this year, so we're not dealing with last year's
Very nice.
backfeed and fiasco.
Sounds like you're in a bus station type of thing.
It's going to be better this year, I guess. Colin's all excited to
right.
show me how to
That's
use it and set it up, so
Good.
that'll work out for us.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Show you how to use it.
He's going to show me how to
We're
use
in
it.
trouble.
All right, our next, I don't know where Corinne went, but our next appointment.
She's
Oh,
right
she's right there.
there.
I'm looking over here.
I thought you were being funny.
No,
I was like,
I'm serious. I didn't know you had a special seat. How are you?
But she's got
Yes.
that tiger print, so she's kind of blended.
All right, you're here for a couple items.
Lots of old business.
Yes.
One is my retiree's request asking that the town continue to pay his penalties for his Medicare penalties so he can leave the town's umbrella of coverage and go with his wife's plan with a different employer,
Obviously,
which
that,
got tabled last time,
Yeah.
so we didn't get a decision.
right, and that would obviously save the town money,
It would
because all
save
we'd
the
be paying
premium.
is,
We'd just
what
be
is it,
paying the
$20-something
penalty.
a month with the,
His particular penalty is, I want to say it's 3 months or whatever, so it's only like $15.
okay. All right, any comments from the board?
As long as it's a saving for the town.
All
I'm
right.
sorry, $22.
Okay, but we're not paying 70% or whatever.
We're not
it
paying the
is.
$189 premium,
Yep, okay,
insurance premium.
good.
So,
All right, so.
that's one question. So
Okay.
he's approved.
Well, I'd like to make propose a motion to allow the retiree to move over to his, is it a he? His spouse's policy,
It's his
but we
spouse's.
have the town continue to pay his penalty, his Medicare penalty.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. All right, next item.
Through the chair,
Mm-hmm.
could we, Corinne, could
Yep.
you possibly get us a listing of how many more of these are out there?
I can get you the listing of
Yeah.
who they are and how much the
I don't need to
premium,
know
the
who they are, I
penalties
just
are.
need to
I
know
mean,
the
of
number of how
how
many.
many there are and what their penalties are.
Yeah, how.
The only
yeah.
thing is it's not static. It is dynamic. We do have some people who are are working, but they won't be eligible for Medicare when they do retire. And they're either not going to be eligible for Medicare, or if they are eligible for Medicare, they may have a spouse or something that's substantially younger than them. And when they do retire and their spouse reaches the age of 62, they'll become eligible for premium-free Medicare, which will incur penalties at that time for those people. There's not a whole lot of those, but we do have some, but I can get you what we have currently.
I just think if we're aware of what the potential.
Yeah, I can definitely get you that. Yeah.
That would be great.
And then
Section 125 request?
the Section 125 request, the town accountant's been working with town council, labor council, regarding getting the Section 125 documents together.
Okay.
I don't have anything, but as far as I understand it, you've approved to accept them, and I'm assuming when they do get finalized and approved by town council, the chairman can sign off. Is that a correct assumption?
I believe, yeah, we did vote on it, so. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
And then,
The next one is vague. Insurance question.
vague, the questions were, did you not get the attached memo?
That's right.
Well, I think council, when he comes, should address those, because he has a very detailed answer.
Oh, then should I step out and have somebody else come in and you can wait for town council?
Yeah,
Okay.
to avoid
No, that's fine, because
duplication.
my Part D, I need to show him something before I show you, so.
Okay.
I was trying to get it to him, but
Okay.
because it's open enrollment, I just kept getting pushed back.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I will step away, and you can move forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But no, just take a little break.
Oh, yeah, I'll wait, when I see him.
And we'll make sure it's a little break. Let's see, we're a little early. Our next, I gotta look around first before I say this. Our next appointment isn't here yet.
No.
So what we can do is, I'd like to make a motion to approve the open session minutes of December 16th. Hey, we're almost into this year.
Yeah.
2014. Were there any changes?
No.
Okay. Is there so moved, or?
I was waiting for
All right.
Selectman
What do
Gordon.
you-
I'll make it, actually, are there any changes in either?
There were no changes
Let
in
me-
either of
Let me
them.
amend that. I'd like to make a motion to approve the open session minutes of December 16th and the executive session minutes of December
Yeah,
16th.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Let's see, under the next items, Article 10, we're going to table because I haven't had a chance to do that. 11, the article presenters.
Okay.
Don't everybody jump up at once.
Mr. Chairman, I've included a list for the board to work off of, just with a brief list of the articles,
Yeah.
just the names of them. And I just put it there too to remind the board that that's one of the things that we could either do tonight or hash out at the meeting before the meeting.
Let's see.
Just trying to
Find
get
the
there.
list.
I think we have
Great.
that in there, do we?
What's that?
Number 11.
The header is Board of Selectmen articles.
And is that on our
It should be
supplementary?
in your newest one.
The newest one, okay,
Yeah.
so,
Let me see, I mean,
our supplementals, there we go. I know it's up.
if I don't find it, I'll just share.
Maybe in the previous number.
Oh, thank you. I'm all set.
Okay.
All right, Article 4.
I want 15.
You sure?
You had it last year.
If you want, as long as you get it passed. All
Oh,
right.
of course.
All right.
Oh, but, well, I'll try my best.
Let's see, Article 4 is a stabilization fund. I don't know if there's anybody who wants to do that.
It doesn't matter, you
Okay.
know, however you want to do it,
I'll-
for all of them.
I'll
I
take
really
that.
don't mind.
And the next item is Article 5, which is the other post-employment benefits reserve fund. Anyone?
Okay,
All right. You'll probably be having someone from appropriations come up there too if there's any questions, so.
Is,
Go ahead.
okay. LCAT, I've had something to do with those, so.
Yeah, that's
number
fine.
12 and 13.
Yep,
So I don't want to do all of them.
well, that's fine.
So that's three.
I'll do Article 6.
Okay.
You got Article 10, Bill.
Yeah.
Then if you want to do 14, Bill, the revolving funds.
Me?
Yeah. Now,
I guess.
Articles 20 and 23, I assume are off the table.
For 20, I would say yes, but I don't.
You gotta amend it, right?
Well, no, 20 would be off because it's put on by the Board of Selectmen. And because we voted as a board to eliminate that, so that would be no action on 20. But 23 was a private petitioner with,
Yep,
so
that's
I
right.
don't know
Yeah, so you still got
how
23.
that would. I
As-
mean,
as a citizen.
him and his citizens can,
Okay.
the Selectman Gorman and the citizens can choose
Okay.
not to take an action on it, but as a board,
Right.
that wasn't ours to do that.
Article 21, I can do that if you want the meals
Okay.
tax. And I don't know if one of you two want to do the senior work-off program.
Sure, I'll do that
All
one.
right. Okay. All right.
In Article 15?
I believe Selectman
me.
Thorpe is doing that.
So it seems a little uneven.
So what ones do I have,
Would you
Paul?
like number
10,
5,
14,
Bill?
23?
What's up?
10, 14, and 23?
10, 14, 23, and why don't you
Yeah.
take 5, because I have 4,
If you want to take 5, then
unless you want to do it, Paul.
I don't care.
You can work it out, yeah.
All right, yeah, if you want, I'll do 5 if you want. Don't know how.
Okay.
3, I'll have 4. All right. All right, so that's all set. And it's 6:35, and our
I should say, okay.
6:35 appointment chair. Come on up, Heather. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. See you.
Good, good.
All right. You are here today about, I'm going to go out on a limb and say.
As far as the community gardens, everybody's all set, signed, had a meeting tonight, they're gonna be planting any minute. Some people are already up there doing it. So we're moving on to the outside arena, which we were approved for, so, I guess we need to just, I don't know, you tell me, what do we need to do?
We had briefly talked about using the outside area for equestrian activities.
Not limited to equestrian activities,
Right.
agricultural activities.
Okay. I'm trying to think if we do. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
It was 4-H, and any programs where there is a registration fee of sorts. I'm saying if there are any programs, that would be going through our recreation department, right?
We haven't,
I'm
are you saying that's what we should do, or are
I'm
you?
saying that's what should happen. It's just like when we had soccer camps that were being held at different places. It's still a town thing, so the registration would go so that we can keep track of who's up there, et cetera, should go through our recreation. It shouldn't be a problem, and then you get all the information.
I'm trying to think if there's anything that we had bounced off of town council, or that we had to bounce off town council.
I know that I had requested a memorandum of understanding similar to the memorandum of understanding that she already has with regards to
The gardens.
the gardens, but I haven't seen one.
Okay.
And I don't know if that's her, is that what you want?
Is it
or
my
what?
job to do that? No.
No,
it's
no,
his.
I'm saying is that's what you would like?
I think that what we have, because the planning board asked me to come before them, because they said, whatever our memorandum of understanding went from, that anything needed to be approved, if there was any building, structures, whatnot, it would have to go before the planning board. So I did have Michael Smith put the plans together. We have the dimensions that are there. I have the materials because you gave me approval, so
Yes.
I've already purchased them. And as far as this year, the groups that would be up there would be our surrounding areas for 4-H. We would be able to get meetings up there. There wouldn't be any fees or clinics and things like that. Anything that's planned through 4-H goes out between 8, 9 to 10 months prior to doing anything. That would be bigger clinics and workshops. So we would only be able to start small this summer, and then when they sit before their advisory committee, their fair committee, and all of the, what they put through for workshops, that's something that would be planned once we have something in place for them to be able to come and use.
Okay.
So we're a little bit ahead of ourselves as far as putting anything through the recreation department as of yet, because all we would be doing is just asking permission, like, it's town property. So if you were to go to Heritage and have a couple of people meet you there, play on the swing sets, we don't come before you to do anything. So what I need to do is, for liability for you, for me, our 4-H has insurance. Massachusetts, everyone in Massachusetts is covered by their own insurance. Just permission to do these things, so that if we're up there in the arena working on something that's not being charged by anybody, we have permission from you, and no one's going to say, oh, there's a bunch of kids up there, with this, that, and the other thing. Do you know what's going on up there? We need to be, agreeing and keeping everybody familiar with what's going on and up to date. So, the 4-H pamphlet that you got from Tom would put some things in place. And then he would go before his committees and he'd say, this property is available to us, do we want to use it? And then there we'd be able to work out if there were fees. But 4-H is, there's not a lot of fees on things. I mean, they're trying to run plans and get your community involved with agricultural and information, educate people. So to the extent of what things cost, that's something that they would have to put in place. I really don't have that information. I asked him to come, but he teaches a class tonight. It's a little short notice. And then the person that I partnered up with, Shannon O'Brien, she also had, a short notice from yesterday, so she couldn't make it either. So they're very educated and informative, where I can talk generally about what we'd like to do this summer after we get the riding arena up. But as far as moving forward to what the 4-H may be able to do up there, I would rather have them speak on it than me.
Yeah, I was just saying, when the proposal was made and there was a question of there would be programming, whenever there's any sort of programming, that programming should go in the same vein as our recreation, so that everybody in town has an opportunity to take advantage of it. So not just a selected few. That's the only reason that I said, because there may have been some sort of, we just wanted to clarify it before it became a problem. That's all.
Yeah, and we do need to clarify it a little bit more, because they're their own entity and they run their own thing. So what we would do is probably a publication and offer it, or a notice that would go to the school. I don't know if there would be some sort of conflict with interest for them to be, because they're separate from, they're not a rec department there, and they're not running it through our town affiliates. We're running it through, the 4-H would have it and they'd be using the property. So I think that's where our town attorney came in. We need to clarify things with him, because I think he's under the impression that we have the community gardens and we have people that are in our community doing that, but then 4-H, if we put an outside arena in, it's not my friends that are going there. It's a group of people there are surrounding areas that we would put the word out, and this land would be available to use with a riding arena, and people would go up there and use it, and that's what we want. So it's one of those things, like, build it and they will come.
And I would like to say, though, if it's going to be in East Long Meadow and it's town property, that East Long Meadow people get first dibs.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I went ahead and started doing this, because nobody else was taking the initiative
Yeah,
to do
she
it.
did.
So
That's right.
I want our town to be involved in this.
Absolutely.
And I'm getting feedback from so many parents and so many different people that are coming to say,
Positive
this
stuff.
is,
Yeah.
we were an agricultural town,
Yep.
We need it back. When you ask a 7th grader where are French, how are French fries made, and they're saying flour and water, these kids everyone needs to be educated agricultural. And we would be able to hold, Tom said it's something called Midnight Twilight, which is a meeting. They're actually meeting in Springfield in the towers because the towers are being used by the colleges and they're UMass Extension. So and they don't want to go to town. They don't want to go to Springfield downtown and go to the towers. They want to go to a barn or somewhere comfortable where they can talk about, what's going on with our plants this year. Why are we getting so many bugs of this sort? Those are the kind of things that they keep you informed with. For the surrounding community might be affected, and you need to be aware of it. We'd be able to do something like that. So that's more of like just a meeting and a get-together rather than a clinic. And like I said, it is town property, so I think we are a community and we should have the right to be able to do these things.
Right.
So I don't know where the confusion is with Jim. I don't.
Yeah, we'll try to explain it to him, and what we'll do is, excuse my nasal.
I know everyone has allergies are bad.
But
Mr. Chairman,
yes.
if I could just add a little bit, because I did speak a little bit with council, and I've spoken with Selectman Thorpe a little bit too, and spoke with Heather, and appreciate her coming in, admittedly short notice for her, but I think a little bit what we were talking about through the chairman was that we were going to talk a little bit about the MOU tonight, which still can be done, and probably in some form is what council is going to be working on as the board had directed. But what Heather had touched on was something that council wants to have a discussion with the board about, just what you're also bringing up, Selectman Thorpe, is we have individuals who are coming up with ideas, and whether they're going to be a short-term or a long-term, become a staple, that remains to be seen, but there's ideas that are being put out. And now with the board has also got this committee that's looking at use as sort of maybe a grander scale, but can also look at these more immediate type of programs. And what council and I think everybody is getting towards is what are the mechanics of that? Is it a recreation department, and we're talking about the administration of it and the okay of it, whether it's short-term or long-term, and what are those approval processes? And so is it a matter of the committee that the Board of Selectmen has appointed for that property makes those recommendations to the board says, sounds good to us, and then the committee runs it, and there's an MOU with the committee? Or is it, okay, committee, you've come up with the idea, administratively, let's run it through the rec department, or whatever way the board sees fit to do it? And I think I guess that's sort of the hurl at this point.
But right now, through the chair, my understanding is that Heather has presented it, we have approved it, so this particular one, she would be overseeing. However, if there were later down the road, which she's going to, my understanding, and please correct me at any point, my understanding down the road, if there are going to be additional programs where there are registration fees, etc., those would all be going through the recreation department so that the monies can be streamed where it needs to go. But I know it's all it's all new.
It is all
and,
new.
And
Yep.
we'll figure it out.
Okay, so can I touch on it a little bit? The memorandum of understanding gives the Friends of the Brown Farm, which is a committee, we are a board and a nonprofit, has given given us permission to do the community gardens. So that opens us up with an IEN and the nonprofit and so on. So when I'm saying for a memorandum of understanding, it's giving the Friends of the Brown Farm the okay to go forward and use the outside arena. These are all temporary things because it's a memorandum of understanding, it's not a contract. So everyone needs to understand that this could be pulled at any time. We're aware of it. This is a good thing that we're doing. If the town sees it's a good thing, the committee sees it's a good thing, our board sees it's a good thing, we would be able to continue. If we are to in the future say, because we're running all sorts of questions as to couldn't we put fields on this property, because basically that's what everyone's concerned about. These are temporary. We don't have we just want to be able to use the property because nothing's happening with it.
Right.
And if we were a year or 2 years down the road, because we have to come before you every year with the understanding as, can we continue? Can we continue with the community gardens? They look okay for the town. Can we continue? Can we continue running projects and programs in an outside arena next year? Because we're not, again, building, we don't have, nobody's gone before all of the departments to see what would be the best usage. So right now, we would just like to use it. And then, we all know we have those buildings, and if they're able to use, we would, for the future, like to go in and do those. Those would be bigger projects. But right now, I guess, I don't know, is that the way to answer that? Because it would be, the memorandum of understanding was for the Friends of the Brown Farm up to the fence line. So we have to have some sort of agreement that we would be able to run these things, and like anything else, I'm coming before you. I always have shown you the list of people that are there, the volunteers, what's gone on. It's pretty transparent. I'm not trying to do anything that isn't but for the better of the town, and I'm not a town employee. So I guess because I'm not a town employee and I don't have a department area to work in, the memorandum of understanding is what gives us the usage to be able to do things and say, I have permission, we can go up there, let's go play.
Okay.
Let's go do something. Is that about right?
May I, through the chair?
Sure.
Just understanding that at some point, the board may decide that instead of coming directly to us, that you may go, the committee that you're on may be bringing, you would go, there may be another loop, you go to the committee, and then the committee would bring it to us. That's a possibility.
And what I'm thinking is, because I always worry about ultimately the properties and everything are in our control.
Right.
So what I want to find out from town council is, if you get these programs in place, we may have a memorandum of understanding with your board, with the Brown Farm, but we may want to have one with 4-H also.
Absolutely.
Because you want to make sure that their ducks are in the row as far as insurance and whatnot, and we don't put ourselves out there, because you guys may do all the due diligence in the world, but if something hits the fan, as they say, you're not responsible, we are, so.
I think when this first came about, before we even had the approval for the outside arena, was that the liability is obviously the town's attorney is the biggest, concern. And so he was going to write a rider that allows the 4-H, because everyone that's in any 4-H is covered completely, and then when they do the clinics and the workshop, they're covered even more.
Okay.
They're blanketed even more. So in addition to everyone's individual insurance that they have the 4-H insurance, and then when you have the next step, you have even more. So we are never...
Right, we just want that in
we
writing,
aren't
so.
ever without enough coverage. So it's, and actually, that would be an agreement that the 4-H themselves would be doing the
Right.
stuff that, like I said, it would come before their committees and run out 8 to 10 months. But if we can get the arena up in a timely manner in the next month, our clubs that are in this area usually do their planning in a month in advance. So if I could say, I had projected for the end of June, and now I'm projecting sooner, because we're losing a few people in town that are very helpful, and I have everything all set. Everything's bought, purchased, and sitting and waiting to go in. Okay. So
what we'll do is we will, when our town council gets here, we'll get him working on the
I wish he was here.
The many memorandums.
Oh, he's on his way. He did say that he
the
would
many
be here.
memorandums of understanding, if it's the proper pronunciation, but.
Say it 3
And then we
times fast.
can get you going.
Do you need me to spend some time with him?
He may need some information from either you or 4-H, I'm not positive, so in either case, I'll have him contact you, and you can put him in touch with whoever from 4-H who can give him the information that he needs.
Sounds good. Okay, and so then next question. Do I need to go before the planning board?
Doesn't sound like it, because you...
Mr. Chairman, if I could, if the MOU, and from the conversation I gather, it sounds like the MOU will be either an amendment to the current one with the Friends of Brown Farm, or maybe a new one with the Friends of Brown Farm. I think in either case, there will be need for the group to go to the planning board because it's a use question up at the property. In the MOU, in the case of the MOU, if it were an amendment, it specifically states that any changes in use or additions in use, however it's worded, that they do need to go before planning. I would think that a brand-new one would still have that same implicit need for that kind of.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I think when I spoke to the board, they basically just wanted to see where it was, you know, make sure that there was, and the memorandum of understanding would take care of, I guess, a new, what the heck was it that I took out? A usage permit or something on that line. So if it would be, as long as it's going to be, you know, meeting all the needs that they need up there. Okay, good. All right, sounds good to me.
Thank you.
So whenever you'd like to call me, I'm available.
Okay.
All right, thank you. All this
Thanks
luggage.
for coming in. Okay. You moving? Yeah. I understand, I know how you feel.
Big today. Thank you very
No
much.
problem.
Thank you, by the way.
Thank you.
All right, our next appointment is with Robert Holden and Bill Kuzelius. I know I should be able to pronounce that. Kuzelis? Okay. I get it confused with the guy on ESPN, which is Kuzelius. I used to be on ESPN.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, it's good to see you.
How are you?
Good to meet you.
Nice to see you. How you doing?
Hey, how are you? Good to see you again, too.
And you are here regarding the wind shelter at the dog
The doggy park.
park.
Right. Yeah, just to give you a little bit of background, this is our 4th year for the dog park in operation, and we have a registration process that we have for the dogs are licensed and rabies and all that. And we have a little over 1,000 dogs registered to the park right now. And we just like to do a little bit of additions every now and then when we get enough money together for the comfort of the dogs, comfort of the people there. You know, we have a playscape for the dogs, and we're finding that in the wintertime it's still very active. You know, people just come in, clear the gates, and the dogs run free in there in the snow or whatever. But as you may or may not know, the wind really whips off of that parking lot for Big Y into the parking lot, into the dog park. And so the suggestion came up that it'd be nice to have a little protection there, just to stand in front of the wall, and so we can still observe the park and the dogs and be a little more comfortable. So Bob's son Rick came up with an idea through his efforts.
Eagle Project.
Eagle Project, yeah. I was going to wonder when you were going to say that. Yes.
So we're going with that right now, and we're just kind of raising funds and going through some design work, and I'll let Bob kind of take over here.
Okay. First of all, Rick apologizes for not being here, but he's at lacrosse practice.
Oh, okay, well,
He's one of those active youths.
okay, I do have a copy, but I'll look at that one.
Basically, as Bill mentioned, part of Rick, he's a voice out here in town here. His Eagle Project was to do something for the community, so I was working with Bill to build a wind shelter at the dog park. So what he did was include a copy of the current dog park with the description of where the wind shelter is going to be in the corner, inside the fence. And what he did,
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
oh, okay. What he did was a high level. He was working with Carista Construction.
Carista.
Surista, yeah.
Carista Construction on providing the labor for building it, and Rick's raising funds to buy the material to supplement it. So this was a high-level plan that Rick put together with Joe Kennedy from Carista Constructions on how to do it, and basically with a few windows in the back to allow, so nobody's going to be hanging out there after hours or whatever, but also just enough to be able to provide shelter from the wind, but not a place to be hanging out.
Yeah, we specifically, the question came up as we're going to have any benches in there. And we decided we don't want to make it that comfortable, you know, because in general, especially in the wintertime, dogs shouldn't be in there for longer than like 20 minutes, half hour anyway. So we want to make it for some comfort, but not lay down and take a nap. So.
Okay. Now, I noticed in our package, and I don't know if you got it, and the dates are a little...
That's from the Board of Public Works?
Right.
Yep,
Yeah.
that came just this afternoon, so they've
Okay,
not
because
had
I
it
noticed
yet,
the date on the top must be, because it says April 15th, and it must be May 15th there.
No,
Because basically what it says is that the DPW received a copy of the May 7th request from you, or from your son,
Yep.
to install a wind shelter at Heritage Park. Although the overall concept is acceptable to the DPW, insufficient detail has been provided to respond to this request. What they're looking for is, and I'll give you this when we're
Oh,
done. So,
okay.
yeah, the applicant be required to provide a more detailed sketch of the wind shelter that includes overall dimensions, materials of construction, framing sizes, foundation, if any, surface treatment and colors, paint, stain, or natural. We also recommend that the building inspector be consulted to determine if a building permit in compliance with building codes would be necessary. So, I think we just got that today, even though the date on the top is wrong, because
Okay.
I don't think you can respond to a letter on April 15th that you got on May 7th.
Okay. So, basically, I'll have Rick work with the builder.
Yep,
Right.
okay.
Because a lot of, the plan was, when Rick was talking with Joe, basically, because they have the placard there that's already, that,
Yep.
announces where they put down minute notes and everything else for the plant activities. So they wanted to keep it that same thing,
Okay.
same wood grain, same construction, same
Okay.
materials.
And obviously, they say they have no problem with it, so that's a good thing. It's just a matter of getting them a little more detailed description of what you're
Right.
gonna do, and then, it should be fine.
Yeah, and I know the one that Joe Kennedy was working with, it has the dimensions all on
Yeah.
it, so.
Yep.
I'm sure that rendering that looked like it was, like, done by
Yeah.
CAD, was,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
probably simple to
exactly.
add all that.
Yeah,
to that,
actually, my son whipped this up one day,
Okay,
so I'm
yep.
surprised he did, but,
Yeah.
so it's good. I mean, I'm glad he's doing that stuff,
Yep.
plus. But
Yeah.
he did work with Joe, because they actually came up with a more because he shaved off some of the wood, some of the materials.
Oh, okay.
Because of the way it's shaped. When Rick had it more pointed, if you angle it out, you don't need the extra wall in between to
Oh,
hold
okay.
it up.
Right.
So there's a few
Okay.
things that Joe and his team were able to help out to get
Okay.
it.
So it was a learning experience, too, isn't it?
Oh, without doubt.
Yeah.
Oh,
without-
yeah.
Yeah.
Through the chair. And speaking with our animal control officer, I guess he had spoken with somebody on the board with regards to having that back wall be
Right.
transparent, so that, like you said, nobody's hanging out there.
Right.
So is that a possibility? Because
Well, that's-
I guess it kind of goes to what materials are going
It's
to
in
be
the
used.
diagram.
It's in the diagram. As we
Yeah.
That
were
is
planning-
transparent?
Well, it's not gonna be transparent, but because we can't have it full transparency, but we
Right.
plan to have windows.
Yeah,
in the
those would
back.
be
Okay.
large windows.
All right, so would there be a spot where somebody could stand where you wouldn't be able to see them, I guess is the question. And that's what, our animal officers, that's the only, he thought it was a great idea. That was the only thing that he would like to see, is to have that.
Well,
That
one of
wall
the, well,
transparent.
technically, yes, somebody could find a spot where you couldn't be seen, I suppose, if you really wanted to, like lay on the ground or something like that. But the other part of that is the location of it is going to be more or less against the back fence. So,
Okay.
so there's not going to be a lot of space in, in there anyway. We kind of wanted to have it against the fence so
Okay.
that people would have a full view of the park and
Okay.
still not have to worry about anybody behind them at the same time.
So it'll be on the big white parking lot side?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, and then just thinking logically, then if the police wanted to patrol the area for people, all they have to do is go in the
You
parking
can
lot.
see it
and so
right there.
from
You can see
it through
You can see
Yep,
it right there,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's been 4 years since you opened there?
Yeah, I know, it's
Yeah.
amazing to me,
Holy cow,
I
remember
know.
going to the grand opening. It seems like it was like a
I
month
know.
ago. Jeez.
Yeah, I know, it's been really,
And it's always
something.
crowded.
It's always busy,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's good. And they have the tags. We had our, the garden club, a plant sale, and there were so many people that were out on Saturday. It was amazing.
Oh.
And people, just so you know, you may or may not know, I met dog owners from Salem who had
Oh.
come down to look at a rescue dog
Oh.
at the barn, so it was really nice. It was-
Well, I got a letter from someone just a couple of days ago. I guess there's having some sort of a reunion with dachshunds. I don't know anything about it, but they wanted to come to the park. They heard about the park, so they sent registration forms in. They all want tags
Oh,
to come
yeah.
to the park for 1 or 2 days while they're here in town.
Hey, that's
That's great.
great.
So
And so
it's
that
just
helps
the word's
with the.
getting around,
Exactly.
and it's a popular place now. So
Yeah, good,
yeah,
good.
so
So just follow up on this, Mr. Chairman. When Rick fills this out, does he email it directly to?
Yeah, I would get
Robert?
it to, yes, get it to
Okay.
Bob Parent.
Okay.
He's in
Okay.
charge of DPW, and then he can, if everything meets with their approval, I'm sure he'll get back to you, and it'll just be a matter of working on it.
well, I know the planning board was waiting for us to get your approval, basically.
Mhm.
So I don't have anything scheduled, with them at this
He's-
time.
Okay.
He's scheduled for next week.
Oh, yes, oh, good.
Okay. No,
It's even better.
I would just ask that, that you also touch base with the animal control officer.
Okay.
Just, if he has any further input right now, he's You can talk on the phone, I believe, so.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, if I could ask the board to consider whether or not it would, either at this meeting or an upcoming meeting, vote to consider supporting the idea of this being constructed pending, so that way perhaps
Yes.
a notification could be sent to the other two boards in support
That'd be great.
Of that.
Yes.
I
That's a great
don't know about my board, but I have no problem doing that tonight, and just subject to the changes noted by the DPW
We're
chairman.
talking to DPW and our animal
Dog
control
officer,
officer.
yeah. Okay, call my dog officer.
What did I say? I
No,
said
that was me,
animal.
I said
Oh,
dog officer.
okay.
I'd like to propose a motion to endorse the wind shield, I guess you'd call it, for the dog park, subject to the changes suggested by the head of the DPW, as far as more information to be given to him regarding the construction of it.
So, and the animal officer.
Yeah, and the animal officer.
Well, second with discussion.
Okay.
This is supposed to be a park over there. You know, we start putting up all these structures. You know, what's it gonna look like over there, you know? I mean, it was supposed to be a dog park where the dogs could go in there. Now we're starting to put up shelters and all this stuff. And what's it gonna look over? And like Angela was saying, you know, that in the town, we have problems with the people that come in there. And, I don't know, looking at this design out there, it looks like people could hide in there and we're gonna have problems there, you know?
Yeah, actually, I think we can address part of that. If you look at where, from the dimensions of the other form, the dimensions of the park,
Yeah.
the picture that you're looking at is actually larger, you know, it's large to show the graphics of the way that we wanted the windows and everything else. But in the grand scheme of the park,
Yeah.
it is probably not going to be much bigger than the equivalent of 2 benches together. So it's not a major structure like a barn that we're talking about. It's basically just a
Yeah.
smaller place, just again, to block the wind as it's coming
I
through.
think what you're looking at is
But
two
according to
8-foot
this, it's
walls.
gonna have a roof on it, right?
A roof just
Well,
because
it's kind of an overhang with a roof.
like a lean-to type of deal, just to keep the wind and the rain off. But it's going to be tucked in the corner, as Bill was mentioning, it's basically going to be butting up against the fence, so that way it's really not going to impede on the area of the park for the
Yeah.
dogs to run. It's really just going to be used on the side.
As
of
far
the
as far as
fence.
dimensions go, to give you a rough idea, we're talking about, you know, kind of like a mini V shape, probably 2 8-foot walls, and the overhang's probably gonna be 2 feet. Okay, kind of like a bus stop, I guess. if
And
you
how
will.
long will the dogs there in here? You say 20 minutes to a half hour?
Well, we recommend, you know, in the wintertime, which is when this will be used primarily, that dogs don't spend a lot of time there because it's really not healthy for them. But, you know, I mean, there are people that are in there for 2 hours at a time.
Yeah.
You know, but the traffic coming and going is usually pretty busy, you know, so.
I just don't wanna see that park getting look like a dump. We're starting to
Yeah.
put this up, put that up.
Well, I'll
you
be
know,
honest with you, I think.
Because what's next? A building for the dogs? So I mean, people are only supposed to only be an area where you can bring your dog,
Right.
you know, and now we're starting to put shelters
Well,
and
from
stuff
what I
up, so-
remember, the park was in a lot worse shape before we put the dog park up than it is now, because now it's occupied, where we don't have a lot of transients hanging out in there, which is what I remember in 20, 30 years ago. So we've had a lot of positive feedback that it's actually upgraded the park in general by having people coming and going there. And the park, the other thing that's constantly recommended or suggested to us is that it's very clean. It's a very clean park. You're going to see very little dog waste in there. It's always cleaned up. We have monitors there all the time, so there's no trouble. So we, you know, we monitor the park pretty well, and we don't plan on building buildings in any respect. You know, we don't. There's no plans for that. And of course, even if we did, we'd have to run it by you and the planning board anyway.
Well, to tell you the truth, I was for the dog park,
Right.
but when we start putting shelters and everything up, I mean, this is the beginning of what, you know?
It's not the beginning of anything. Hopefully, it's the end.
And I think for your aesthetic look, part of what Rick wanted to do was tap into the sign that's already there to make it sure it fits. It's not going to be something different, not going to be this color, so it's going to, and that's kind of the message that he's going to get back to Mr.
Parent.
Parent.
Yeah.
Same concept as the, the
Mhm.
cedar shakes that are there, the cedar, the roof, so the layout and the natural staining
Yeah.
is going to look very
And
similar. to what's
Charest
there.
actually built
Yeah.
that sign as well, so they understand what the compliance would be.
And then, like we said, Bill,
Is it-
where it's going to be, it's on the Big Y side.
Yeah.
So if the police patrol the parking lot, they'll be able to see behind it, so, you know.
Well, it shows it 50 feet away from the rec area, right?
Yeah, because well, it's on the, it's going to be inside the fence of the dog area, so. But it'll be, you can be able to see it from the parking lot, and so that should dissuade people from doing anything.
When you say rec area, you're talking about the pavilion, right?
No, pavilion's actually on the other side of the access road. This was one of the proposed areas that was rec area, that was just open land.
No.
That's
Yeah,
covered
they
by
wanted
trees.
us to leave that open
Yeah.
when we built the park.
I think originally somebody was planning on putting a soccer field,
Yeah.
but I think it's just open.
That was the size that we went with, the
Mhm.
size of a soccer field, they said to leave open, so that kind of defined that boundary.
But the pavilion's on the other side of the access road.
Parking lot's right here, okay.
Okay. Any other questions, Bill?
No.
Angela?
I'm good.
All right, let's see, we moved, all in
Yep.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
Okay, two left. All right, you are all set to go forward with.
Great, thank you very much.
Thanks.
See you again.
See you.
Well, I'll tell you something, you did a great job.
Okay, thank you.
Good to see you. Thank you.
All right, the next item, oh, I'm sorry. Next item is the interim town administrator candidates. We had, what, 8 candidates, Nick, and a couple more came in at the buzzer?
Yes.
So, because we just got those today, what we'll do is if I can have the board review all these candidates, and next Monday, at our meeting before the town meeting, if we can all agree on maybe 4 of them to bring in on the following, would that be the 26th? It's today the 12th, yeah, 26th, for interviews and choose somebody, because we don't want to leave Nick's seat empty for long.
Through the chair, 4 or 5, maybe?
Well, yeah, I'm just trying to, if we've got 10, I'm thinking 4 might be, we don't want to
Okay.
make it too cumbersome. But if we have
Yeah.
a problem, if we end
Yeah.
up with 5, that's fine.
Before what meeting, Paul?
We'll choose them next Monday, and then the meeting after that, the following week, we'll interview, hopefully. All right, the RECC final report, Nick, you don't mind?
This is the final report for the regional dispatch has been submitted, and the company is in the process of, first I would say that it is available to you electronically for your review in the drive folder. It's rather a lengthy one to print out, so hopefully you look at it either electronically. There is one office copy available for you to take a look at, and it comes up with different proposals and various analysis for East Long Meadow, for all of the towns that were part of it. The company is in the process of scheduling times to come and make a brief formal presentation to each of the boards that are participating in this. Tentatively, they would like to come in and meet with the board at your meeting on June 9th, if that is acceptable. So if you want to think about that or give me the okay to try and set that up this evening, that'd be good. And, I won't go into too many of the details of it. There's plenty there for the board. June 9th, Tuesday, yeah. And anyway, that's the gist of that topic.
Okay. Does the board want to have them come in on
Yeah.
June 9th?
And
Okay.
that'll give us a chance
All
to
right.
June 9th.
Yes, sir.
possibly sign out the book. And I'm sure it's evening reading.
All right, the next item is, there's a few in here, it has to do with the J.C.'s Carnival. The J.C.'s are looking for, well, first item is, was it the fishing derby bill that they, was that $200 bill?
That's the
237?
246, I think
Whatever it
it
was.
was.
Yes.
And we agreed to
Roll that into this
allow them
one.
to, yeah,
Yes,
pay that off first.
right. So, let's see, so we already agreed to that, so we don't have to do anything with that.
It was
Next
my
item is
understanding we did.
I don't know that, I think that there was discussion of it. I don't know that the
Okay.
board took a formal
maybe
vote
we
on
need
that.
All right,
to take
I'd like to propose a motion to allow the J.C.'s to roll the 200 and whatever, it was,
46.
$40. That they have.
Just so that we don't get it wrong, the invoice, the amount for,
The balance due from last year's
Right.
fishing derby, roll it over into their payment for this year. No, that's it.
To be paid first.
Right, to be paid first.
So moved.
Which was how much?
It's like
I think it's
$246.
246, no
something
more
like
than
that.
$300.
Yeah.
Okay, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now, the next item is a police detail request. Now, is this the request for the police detail, or is this the request to waive the fee?
This is a request to waive the fee. The administrative fee.
Right, yeah,
I
that's
don't know that there were any others, although there was some discussion about the number of details and so forth, but
Okay.
I think it's relative to the administrative fee.
Okay.
All right, does the board have any thoughts on this? I realize, I know this is something that's been paid every year. It's not something new that's been added to it. And the fact that we're still catching up from last year, I don't know. My opinion is, if you're still paying for last year, I don't see where you would get a break on this year, but that's just me. I know they're having trouble raising funds, but still, there are administrative costs to go along with I believe it's like 160 hours that the police department has.
Okay.
During the course of the 4 days or 5 days or whatever it is.
The administration fee, exactly what does that cover?
That,
I mean, that's something, excuse me, for a town employee.
I would assume, well, it's not for an employee. I assume it's for the cost of scheduling everyone and making sure that everyone's at their related assignments and just making sure everything runs smoothly. That would be
Yeah.
my thought.
And my understanding, that reason that they had gone short is unfortunately because of the weather, and they are reaching out. I
Right.
don't anticipate this to be something that comes through every year, but maybe we could consider it this one time. But I'm open to hearing from all of us.
Okay. You got any thoughts on that, Bill?
No.
Whether we should waive that fee or not, the $1,200?
We're gonna price them out of this thing too,
For this year.
Well, they've got,
I think they can do the police, but if we can help out with the administrative costs, because the police, what they're getting from the extra details, I guess is gonna be $19,904. That's from 2013.
right.
So I'm sure it's gonna be more this year, because nobody's pay went down, right?
I don't believe so.
I don't believe so either, so if we could just help with that administrative fee, I think that would be a great help to them.
Okay, in that regard, I'd like to propose a motion to, what's the word I'm looking for? To forgive the administrative fee for the J.C.'s for the carnival for their police department unit for this year's carnival.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second,
Any further discussion?
just for the administrative fee, they will
Right.
pay
Oh, yeah.
for what he's recommended,
Right,
and that's what they'll have there for the police officers.
okay.
I think that's
All in favor?
aye,
Opposed? Aye, or nay, whatever it is.
okay,
So it's 2-1 nay.
okay.
Now, I'd like to make, and this is gonna be complicated, I'd like to make propose a motion to allow the J.C.'s to use Veterans Memorial Field from 8 AM on Saturday, June 27th, to Tuesday, July 25th, 2015, which I believe is 11 o'clock, but they don't have a time down. Why is,
Oh, where's that, where are we?
now, is it, if I may, Nick, is it through June 7th because of cleanup, or because they usually end the day before the end of the 3rd?
They do usually need at least 2 days to get people, get all the equipment out of there,
Okay.
and to go and get everything taken down, repair the field.
They repair the field, yeah.
Okay. Okay, then I guess there wouldn't be an ending time limit, or ending time on the 7th, because there's not an actual carnival running that day. Also, a liquor license, beer and wine, Tuesday, June 30th, 6 PM to 10 PM, July 1st and July 2nd, 6 PM to 11 PM, and July 3rd, 6 PM to midnight. There's recommendations from DPW, Police, Fire, and Recreation. Insurance is pending, temporary food service pending, the tent permit's pending.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, next item is the building department budget.
The board has the same documents that it has had for the last few meetings, and so there are requests in there relative to positions in the building department for consideration for the board.
Okay, any comments or from the board?
This is for the administrative position there?
This is for electrical inspector, plumbing and gas inspector,
Oh, okay.
to increase their, is it a salary or stipend? They get paid?
They are stipend.
Yeah.
Okay,
And for the administrative position.
The
okay.
administrative position is not stipend, right?
No,
No.
it's
That is a salary, okay.
Collective bargaining position.
And I've got some questions that might be executive regarding that. So, can we vote on them separately, I assume?
Vote on them to do what?
Well, if we're interested in adjusting the stipend for the electrical inspector and the plumbing and gas inspector, we can do that. I don't know if anybody's ready to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I would like to make a motion, or propose a motion to increase the plumbing and gas inspector's stipend by $3 an hour.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion?
It's $3 an hour for both of them,
Yes, I believe.
and that's, but if they're stipend,
I believe it's based on the number of, if you look, the electrical inspector's office hours from 8 to 10, his inspections are done from 10 to noon. Because the chart's based on inspections only, his pay has been reduced by 50%, so. They get a office pay plus, per inspection pay, Nick?
Do they get paid per inspection?
Yes, excuse me.
no, okay, got it. I'm good.
Okay.
No, they're not gonna pay per inspection, huh?
No, no. I was just making sure there wasn't,
No.
because it kind of blended in together.
Mr. Chairman, if I could, before the board finalizes the vote, or wherever you are in the vote, just if the board does vote to adopt these requests for the $3 per hour, that would, I would ask the board to say when that would take effect, and if that's the case, then the board would need to, or someone would need to step up, if it's going to take effect for July 1st, to step up and amend the proposed budget as printed in the warrant as part of the budget process when the moderator goes through the question process, to adjust the personal services line item so that it would be reflective of what the board would, approve this evening.
Do we have a dollar amount what that's gonna come out to be? I know it's minimal.
I do not see one in this information. I see where the building commissioner is saying that it would mean a 3% increase rather than 2%.
I'll tell you what, why don't we hold off and see if
Yeah.
we can get the figure from him as to what it's gonna cost on an annual basis, and then we'll take this up either next meeting or the meeting after.
And, Mr. Chairman, if
No,
didn't mean to
no,
interrupt.
you're fine, sir.
If the board doesn't take the action at the annual town meeting, it may be something that could be considered as a reserve fund, or if that would not be approved through that process by either this board or the appropriations committee. Well, if it's not approved by this board, it's not going anywhere,
Right.
but the board's next opportunity would be to take it up at any subsequent special town meeting.
Okay. I mean, if
Can we also have our our council look at that also.
Mhm.
Because I think she had an opinion on it as
Okay.
well. I think there should be something, but I just want to make sure all the i's are
All right,
dotted and the t's are crossed.
okay.
So what are we doing with this?
Nothing right now. We're gonna get some more information. We're gonna get dollar amounts.
But we're going to try to get it done before town meeting.
Yeah. All right. Now, senior work-off abatement program.
Chairman, if I could just make a report to the board on this. This is, well, it's a piece of old business, but it's new for this meeting because I just want to say that there's been a group of department heads, including your town accountant, your clerk, your town administrator, and the assessor, and the council on aging director. We have all met to look at the senior work-off program and to revamp it and to, well, to really streamline it, because there were processes that needed to be looked at. So what's happened is, what you have here is a draft. You have a letter from the town accountant signed by all the department heads that have been part of the process. This is a proposal for how the program would run going forward, and this is something that that group would like to meet with the board perhaps on June 9th. So there's no action this evening, but you have the materials. They just came in today, and if you have questions of any of it, all of the department heads involved would welcome the opportunity to speak with you about that.
Through the chair.
Mhm.
SWAP committee?
Senior Work-Off Abatement Program.
Uh-huh. When do they become a committee?
We're self-appointed.
Okay.
Well, we just came up with an acronym to
Oh.
put in for our meetings.
Okay.
All right. All right, so we'll do that, plan on the 9th.
The 9th.
All right. And the last item under old business is LaSalle Street.
LaSalle Street. Recall, I don't expect that the board will have an opportunity to make a decision this evening, but this is a piece of business that came in late. But it's an old piece of business. Recall that there were some poll location hearings, and one of them was for LaSalle Street. And without going over the whole thing, but there was an issue of a stump pole, I think they call it. They wanted to put one in next to a tree, and the board considered it and thought, well, if the tree is not a viable tree, perhaps the utility could take it down. So the board was waiting for a report back from the Department of Public Works to see whether or not the tree is viable. And what you have today is I believe a letter and email from the superintendent, along with a picture showing the tree, fully flowered. So it's a viable tree. The Department of Public Works position is that it would not take a viable tree down. And so this is back before the board. Again, I don't expect that you're making any kind of a decision this evening, but it's something that for a subsequent meeting, the information from the hearing for that, along with this information, will be given to the board again, so you could make a decision at that time.
Yeah, through the board.
Mm-hmm.
Nick, weren't they gonna use that as a stub pole, like go into it with a guy wire?
I think in that case, what they were going to do was put a pole right next to it.
Yeah.
And there was some concern from the neighbors, from the...
But, not to interrupt you, but for the purpose of putting a guy wire to hold a corner or something?
Yes, to hold one of the bigger poles nearby.
Yeah.
To make it stable, I
Yep.
think was what it
Yep,
was.
yep.
And so, there was some concern about the neighbors about having, the way it would look, to have that little pole next to this tree. I don't know if it was because of the space seemed to be kind of tight, or if it was just, it didn't look the greatest.
Is that a town tree or a private tree?
To my knowledge, it's a town tree, yes. That's why we had the...
Why couldn't, I mean, I did that for a job, why can't they just go into a tree with a tree bolt and use that as the guy, instead of putting a stub pole there?
I believe, as I remember from the hearing, the vendor, which is Verizon, felt that that would not be as good a solution because the tree would be weakened over time, and it might even, I guess, damage the tree and kill it eventually.
Well, I worked for them for 38 years, Nick, and I drilled them and I put them in the trees, and they're still in the trees today because the tree grows around the bolt.
I won't
know?
dispute that. I mean, you have more expertise in it than I do, but that's what I got from the hearing.
Yeah.
All right, so that was basically for information purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, under new business, we have a request from the Girl Scouts of Central and Western Massachusetts to acknowledge one of our town residents who got the Gold Award commendation, which I guess is the highest award you can get as far as a Girl Scout.
As a Girl Scout.
Catherine
yes,
Merton
I'll tell
of
you.
East Long Meadow was the recipient, and we'd be happy to send a congratulatory message of commendation from the board to Catherine for her achievement.
If you don't mind, I don't mind going to attend
Sure.
that as a Girl Scout.
Yeah, June 16th.
You know, Girl Scout.
On that.
You know, looking at Billy,
Oh.
because he's gonna say something. I could see it all over his face.
Okay, so
I
we'll,
didn't say nothing.
so we'll get that done, the commendment letter, and then Selectman Thorpe can deliver it on the 16th of June.
We bringing her in to present her with it, or like
What's
we
that?
did, present her with this? No?
Yeah. I know where Angela's going. If you want to go, you can go. I'm not gonna be around, so.
When is that?
June 16th,
June 16th?
yeah. And we have a request from the Masonic Temple for a one-day liquor license, beer and wine, on Saturday, May 23rd, 2015, from 7 p.m. to 12 a.m. at the Masonic Hall, 43 Chestnut Street, and in conjunction with that, an entertainment license, same date and time, and insurance is on file. I'd like to propose a motion to accept both the one-day liquor license, or to approve the one-day liquor license and the entertainment license.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Okay.
Memorial Day. There's a request in here for, which I don't have, is the recommendations from the ITMs and American Legion to appoint the Memorial Day Committee, which I believe we do every year. It's just a formality of,
Yes.
because they choose.
Again, that should be part of that later packet.
Okay.
Okay.
So I would like to propose a motion to accept the Memorial Day, where am I here? The Memorial Day Committee members from the ITMs and American Legions for 2015.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then the other is just a notification regarding the program. Nick?
Yes, and just to verify, I believe I've heard from both, from two selectmen, have all three selectmen, will you all be available? I don't know.
Yes.
Are you all willing and able to attend the ceremonies? That's
Yes.
the
Yep.
question.
Great. Would you, I guess, Selectman Federici, Chair, would you want, I don't have to speak? Maybe I could just pass out the flowers then?
Okay.
Do you want to switch?
They usually set up what, because I think I am speaking, so they usually set up what you guys are doing. One reads the names of deceased, and then somebody does the flowers up front.
Okay. Because I just noticed how it was set up. I didn't know
Yeah.
what you were going to speak to. So.
All right. Board of Health.
The Board of Health Coalition for Responsible Retailing, keeping tobacco out of the hands of minors. This Coalition Responsible Retailing, what they're trying to do, they want to meet with us, and they're calling upon local officials to stand with them and pass common sense regulations to keep tobacco and nicotine products out of the hands of minors and stop them from using tobacco. They got a few rules here, like they want to apply the minimum legal age for the purchase of tobacco, remove the exception for parents and legal guardians to give tobacco products to their children. I don't know how we're going to do that if they're doing it in their own house. Impose a fine on enabling adults that provide tobacco products to persons under the minimum age. Add language to the local regulation that specifically makes it illegal for minors to purchase tobacco, and implement civil fines for underage minors in possession of tobaccos or nicotine delivery products. These people are reaching out to us in a couple of weeks. They want to schedule a time that they can come in and present this to us. So I don't know if the board's for it or against it, or.
If I could, through the chair, what did our health agent say about this? Because I noticed she has the answer from the Mass Health Officers Association, and they're just basically saying that this is a group of actually, they work for the tobacco companies, and they're basically just trying to
Exactly.
limit what they can do to punish them for selling to underage kids. So it doesn't, it doesn't sound like it's wonderful out of the kindness of their heart type of thing they're doing it, so.
Myself, I'm not for it.
Okay, that's fine.
I don't think it's gonna, I mean, a parent's gotta get after their own kids. I mean, we can't be punishing kids,
Right.
They go, but yeah, on the other hand, in the state of Massachusetts, we're trying to pass a thing for, to smoke wacky weed. I mean, it's like, I just don't understand. They're coming out with this, but yet the state of Massachusetts is gonna legalize marijuana.
No.
Don't even make sense to me. So I don't know what the board wants to do, but I'm against it.
So you're against them coming to talk to us?
Yeah.
All right. Do we have to vote on that?
Takes no action. It's at the
Okay,
pleasure
that's
of the
fine,
board,
that's
really.
fine, because
But we don't
I
have to take a
tend to
vote.
agree, yeah.
You don't have to take a vote or not?
No. Nope.
You got anything, Angela, you wanna add, or?
I'm lukewarm on that. I mean, information is always good to make a good decision, but if you both feel so strongly about it, I can go along with it.
I mean, my kid was smoking, I boot him in the rear myself.
Right.
I don't need somebody,
Somebody,
I don't need somebody,
and we don't need more legislation.
I don't need somebody to come and tell me I should do
Right.
that,
And through the
Yeah.
chair,
Let parents do.
there's
their
already
thing.
laws in place to punish stores for selling to underage kids, so,
Yeah,
why reinvent the wheel?
yeah, exactly. The next thing we got on our new business, let's see here. This is correspondence from the State of Massachusetts Animal Response Team. It's called SMART. It's a plan for pet care and disasters. This is just about if they want to have an emergency plan if you have an animal during a disaster, hurricane, tornado, or something, where someone with animals, where they can go or what they can do, And, they got a website here you can go up on to get more information about it. But I think they passed, in March of 2014, Massachusetts Senate Bill 1172, an act ensuring the safety of people with pets in disasters, was signed into law. This law requires Massachusetts cities, towns to have a plan to place to include strategies to support the needs of people with household pets and the needs of household pets under their care, including service animals, before, during, and after an emergency of a natural disaster. So, I don't know who we would go through for that, Nick.
We have
If it's a
emergency
law.
preparedness.
Huh?
We have emergency preparedness. Maybe
Well,
that's
that's-
something that they
yeah.
could take on and
Yeah, they could
and
take
look
this on.
into.
But what I can do is
And
talk
Mr.
to them
Folk
about
Mr.
this,
Folk is here too, so who's part of that emergency preparedness.
because I don't know if they could take them to Bircham Park,
can hear
during the disasters. I didn't go over there, but I don't know.
Through
Do you,
the chair,
Paul?
can I check with Brian?
Huh?
Brian Falk is here. He's head of the emergency preparedness.
Who's that?
Brian Falk.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Do you know anything about that?
I know communities are supposed to include it as part of their overall comprehensive plan for animal sheltering. At the current time, the town plan does not have it. There are resources available, which I suggested bringing in for the October-November 2011 event. And at that time, the current director at the time said we didn't need it. Part of it, though, is they cannot be in the same space as the residents are.
Okay.
And I know part of the care, actually most of the care has to be conducted by the owners, including the feeding and watering, etc. The only thing the town would have to come up with, to my knowledge, I can get more information on, is the actual sheltering of the animal.
Okay. Well, through the chair, perhaps you could direct him to do that? Or as a board, if that's our pleasure?
What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, follow through on it and just maybe get something in place at some point.
All right, okay.
I know there's a couple of regional, what they call DART trailers around here.
Call what?
DART. It's short for Disaster Animal Response Trailer. There's a few in the region. And Springfield just got the new one donated by a myriad of different dog organizations,
Okay.
which we could probably get so long as the city's not impacted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is this another unfunded
I
mandate?
got a word.
It's federal.
Yeah.
It's federal, so just about everything federal is unfunded.
One of the, could you check also to see if there are any grants out there? If it does come into some financial responsibility, see if there are any grants that are out there since it's been enacted since March 2014, and we have to do it. Let's see if there's any money out there before we have to go spending taxpayers' money.
It may be simple enough if we could do it with the approval of town council for MOUs for, say, the city unit. Memorandum of understanding.
Okay.
But yes, I will look into and try to get more information.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
The next thing on the agenda here, request from East Long Meadow Tennis Association. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what's this got to do with the health department? But I'll read this to you. The East Long Meadow Tennis Association, with approval from the school committee, is have a grand opening celebration for the town of East Long Meadow High School tennis courts. Please consider this an invitation to the Board of Selectmen to attend the celebration. Please let us know if any would you like to make comments so we can receive, okay? The event will take place at the East Long Meadow High School tennis courts. Is scheduled for Saturday, May 16, 2015, from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. The rain date will be Sunday, May 17, 2015. Additionally, we are requesting a temporary food service permit, that's why the health department got it, from the board to accommodate a food trailer from the log cabin Delaney House. The trailer will serve hot dogs, hamburgers, non-alcoholic drinks from 12 o'clock p.m. to 2 o'clock p.m. The food trailer was approved for a waiver by the planning board on May 5th, 2015. We respectfully request a waiver of any fee since the celebration is in honor of completion of the project for the tennis courts for the town and to assist in fundraising for the support of East Long Meadow Tennis Association. Then they get a 501c3 tax exempt organization, and print, they're also in small print. They're gonna have a popcorn machine there. And that was Sam Pezzanelli, East Long Meadow Tennis Association. So anybody, I think that's on a Saturday, if anybody would like to go to that.
Yeah, I'm signed up to go.
What else is there?
We have to approve the permit and the food permit.
We gotta make that, yeah?
Yeah, you gotta make the motion.
Okay,
Entertainment.
Entertain a
I
motion, yeah.
like to entertain a motion to approve the permit for the tennis court on that date that I just stated,
And actually,
So
and
moved.
also the food service.
for the food service.
So moved.
Second?
Is there
May
any discussion?
16th, and Sunday, May 17th is the
Any
rain date.
discussion? Angela?
I'm good.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passed. Okay, that takes care of that too. Oh, yeah. I'd like to also make a motion to waive the fee that they requested for the tennis court.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? So moved.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You know what I'm talking about, Angela?
Oh, no, because they're tax exempt, so, you know, we've done that in the past, and so it's a continued practice.
Well, yeah, but not for the tennis court, right?
Any tax exempt, organization we have tended, to waive the fees for them.
All right. Okay, the next thing on the agenda is a request for a variance regarding Tails Asian Cuisine and Isaban Asian Cuisine, a variance to allow a certification of rice as food safety control measure recommended by the Lois Luna Woods temporary health agent. What we have here is, I didn't know you had to do all this, but the new health agents on the ball here, these places weren't doing this at these two places I just mentioned. And what they have to do is, they have to take the rice, and it could be certain temperatures. It has to be sent to, a sample sent to a place to have them see. It got to be like 115 degrees from what I understand. And these places weren't doing it. As a matter of fact, they didn't know nothing about it. So she, because there's a Massachusetts regulation, 3-502-11, that specialized process of a certification of sushi rice. I don't eat the stuff myself, so I don't know nothing about it. But she did go to these people, and there are a number of certified food protection managers currently employed with her, so they have to do this according to the law. So that's what this is all about. And she was on the ball, you know, doing this. So I commend her for, you know, I mean, the lady seems to know a lot about this, you know.
It's wonderful.
So all this paperwork is everything that she gave us that got to do with, you know, this process they have to go through with the rice. It has to be certain temperatures. You know, you have to put certain, like vinegar or something with that at a certain time, a certain temperature. You know, so that's what this is all about. Because I knew nothing about it, but I do now.
So is the establishment actually doing this now, or?
Yeah, no, they're actually doing this now.
Had they been doing it previously?
No.
Okay, good.
So you have to propose a motion to
Yeah,
request a variance.
Yeah, I guess I gotta make a motion for that, huh?
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion, what did they call us now?
I guess it would be to allow a variance.
For the certification of the sushi rice under the Massachusetts Regulation 3-502-11, specialized process. I'd like to make a motion.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second for discussion.
Yep.
So the variance is that they're not going to have to do it?
No, they're gonna have to do it.
They're going to have to do it?
Yes.
Yeah. They haven't been doing it,
Okay, got it.
okay?
We gotta vote on it.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay.
All right, you're all set. Now, could you read the meetings and invitations and reminders into record
Sure.
before we go any further? Yes, sir?
I know it's not an open meeting, but thinking about the dog thing, would it be a good idea to get the dog officer involved?
We said that during
Yeah, we're
the,
gonna-
But maybe he could get a hold of Palmer Kennel and work something out for emergency, because he's got.
oh, you're talking about for the,
kennels.
yeah, that's a good idea.
You know what I'm saying, just mention it to
Yeah.
him, because the kennel is not full.
Okay, I thought you were talking about the shelter.
No.
I did too.
I'm barking up the wrong tree, I'm
No,
sorry.
no, I'm
Oh,
talking
no,
about,
no.
under the federal law for protecting
Yeah, okay,
dogs
that's a
in
good idea.
hurricane or storm.
Oh, okay,
I
got
think the
it.
dog officer should be more involved in that than Mr. Falk, because he
Mhm.
deals with dogs every day.
Yeah, I want to thank you for your input too, Bobby, but The dog officer's in a hospital, or was in a hospital.
Oh, really?
He got bit by a dog.
Really?
All right,
Well,
we're
that's what
violating
happens.
HIPAA regulations here, so.
No money in the budget for biscuits, I guess.
Okay.
Thank you.
Meetings, invitations, and reminders. Board of Selectmen meeting before the town meeting on Tuesday, May 18th at, it's going to be
It's actually
changing
changing to 5:15.
to 5:15. And that'll be at the East Long Meadow High School, room C3 at 180 Maple Street. Annual town meeting will also be on May 18th to start at 7 p.m. in the school auditorium, also at 180 Maple Street. Town offices will be closed on Monday, May 25th in observance of Memorial Day. Board of Selectmen meeting on Tuesday, May 26th at 6 p.m. Town Hall Hearing Room. LEPC meeting will be on Wednesday, June 3rd at 7 p.m. at the Council of Aging, located at 328 North Main Street. They're requesting a board member to be present from the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Health.
We could kill two birds with one stone. Selectman Gorman would go.
So we'll make sure
Well, he's
somebody's
both.
there,
Right.
yeah. And then on, the next one is East Long Meadow Public School Recognition Reception on June 4th, 2015, ceremony at 4 p.m., High School Auditorium, RSVP by May 22nd. And that's it.
Okay, we are down to town council, except for the fact that we don't have town council yet, so. Is there anything we can do without him, Nick? Can we do like number 25,
I
which
think you
is
could do number 25.
okay.
I don't know that council has anything new with 26.
Oh, here he is. No, you can't grab.
Don't grab him first,
We need
Corinne.
him.
Well, I have to show him my things.
Oh, then maybe we need to take a little break then.
I'd like to make a motion for a 5-minute recess.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nick, you all set? We are, you all set, Don? Yes, sir. We are back in session. I'd like to invite our town council up.
Oh, you need me to sign this?
Nope.
Hey, Jim.
How
are you?
No.
All right. Got a bunch of stuff, but one of the items is our benefits coordinator wanted to run something by you regarding this. I believe it's the person who is we're going to be paying for their. Or we want, is that what we're talking about?
No, we already
Okay.
took care of the
I'm sorry.
retiree, right? We said yes on that one?
It's my allergies.
That's okay. And I gave you the, that was
Yeah.
just the sheet that
Okay.
Angela had, select woman, Thorpe had requested. So this letter I just handed you, it's just something I would like to send to the employees, assuming you guys approve it tonight. I went back through all the meetings from when MetLife was first, or not MetLife, the representatives from MetLife were approved to offer voluntary life insurance to our employees. And it was done on a contingency that it wasn't going to put any extra work on us as employees of the town, as the benefits administration and everything. And it has proven to be a tremendous amount of work on my part. People are always calling me, asking me questions, and trying to get information about the plan and the deductions and what they have for coverage and everything else. And I was just hoping that you guys would go along with not offering the plan any longer in the future to people.
And they can still get it from them?
Well, the MetLife, they can get it from them and do direct payments if they want to get whole life or life
Okay.
insurance from MetLife. However, as far as the payroll deductions and offering payroll deductions for it.
When something's, through the chair, when something's payroll deducted, aren't they able to take that off of, isn't there some tax benefit to that?
Not all things, only,
No.
only some things.
Pre-tax?
Tax benefit only occurs if you have a Section 125 plan where it's
Okay.
pre-tax, deduct the pre-tax.
And don't we have the Section 125 on our agenda today?
All that's included in the Section 125 is the basic life insurance, because once you start getting to income replacement, it starts being a question of whether it's taxed before the claim gets paid out or after the claim gets paid out, and giving people choices. And then you have 2 payroll slots, whether they want them post-tax or pre-tax, and that's just time-consuming, so.
But,
Go ahead. No.
I was just thinking, with us going paperless soon, and people going online and doing their own thing, doesn't that kind of free up some of this so that it's not gonna be so cumbersome on you? Do you see any?
The particular cumbersome on this isn't necessarily the one payroll deduction being set up as much as it is just people not being able to contact them or needing information or wanting to contact them or having questions. And because it's, for some reason, I think it's because it went through open enrollment and everything last year, they seem to think it's one of my products. So they all call me and email me with questions, and there's been some questions as to how the coverage works and how things work with it, so.
Okay. Again, through the chair, if I may. I guess the question would be, in speaking with town council, and I know he's going to speak on this a little bit later on, with regards to the health insurance and the life insurance, if we have to cancel one life insurance, this might be an alternative. So I think we should think before I'd like to hear what you have to say first before we do anything with this.
Okay.
My understanding that this this life insurance policy is one of half a dozen vendors that have been approved over the years by various boards of selectmen to issue life insurance coverage to municipal employees through payroll deduction.
Right.
But that it is unrelated to the life insurance that is required under Chapter 32B in connection with the health insurance.
It is not related.
Not related to it. That's my
Okay.
understanding.
So then it could continue for the elected officials who are not.
Who have these policies.
Mm-hmm.
There is a policy in place for all employees of the community who are covered under 32B for life insurance and minimum amounts, and Corinne can correct me, of $5,000?
I was just 5,000.
And $2,000, and then upon retirement, they dropped, I think,
1,000.
And people who have coverage, life insurance coverage under that, that's mandatory.
Okay.
Town has to issue it in connection
people
with
who
the
have
health
life
insurance
insurance.
policy, and it's part of the premium that the town pays and the employees pay under the current health insurance policy. They're also, under a separate section of that statute, there is a provision that allows the employees to request supplemental or additional life insurance coverage up to a total of $150,000 under the group health insurance, life insurance plan issued by the town. And that's offered through Liberty Mutual? Who?
Boston Mutual.
Boston Mutual. And they are proposing that additional coverage this year, I think, right? At their fair?
Yes, they do a term life additional right now that you can add. You can buy up the basic life to a term life, and they're also offering the whole life insurance. They're the ones who are here.
But in addition to that coverage that's provided under the statutory 32B coverage
Right,
that's
that's related
required,
to the health.
the board has over the years offered additional insurances not under 32B,
Okay.
which one of these policies are one of them. There are 3 or 4 other life insurance policies, and my understanding, based on some questions and discussions with Ms. Tranghese, is, in review of the statute, is that the dental coverage that's currently issued by the town or approved by the town is also one of those additional coverages, that it is not one that's issued under 32B.
Mm-hmm.
So all of those additional coverages are not covered or in any way impacted by the board's decision with respect to limiting elected officials from participating in the group health insurance coverage.
Okay. Except for the ones that are directly related to health insurance.
What was that?
Except for those that are directly related to the health insurance, directly tied. That free one.
Well, those ones that are, the life insurance the life insurance portion that's directly a part
applied
of
to
the
that law.
statutory
Mhm.
32B requirement,
Mm-hmm.
officials under your vote are
Right.
not allowed to participate in that.
Right.
But you have a number of other
Others.
life insurance policies that are deductible or payable under payroll deduction that are separate and apart
Okay.
of that policy.
How many of those do we have that are eligible for payroll deduction?
How many policies or companies are offering
How many
policies or?
companies are we allowing to payroll deduct not associated with this statute? That would stand on their own?
On life insurance alone?
Life insurance alone, yes.
Well, there's, there's two others in addition to MetLife, so
In
three.
addition, okay,
So MetLife makes three
MetLife makes 3.
that I know of. That
Okay.
said, the schools have a number of things that they offer through MTA benefits that I don't have anything to do with. that.
Okay, and so those other 2, are they causing the same amount of paperwork?
No.
Is MetLife very popular?
I think there's maybe 50 people enrolled in it currently.
And and how much are enrolled in the other ones?
I don't know because I don't administer them. They all go through payroll. The deductions and everything, they deal with payroll directly.
Let me ask you this, is there a time urgency to have this passed right now? Because I'd like to have more information. This is the first I've seen it.
Yeah.
And if we could just get some more information, it's not a no, but I just feel that if we could get a little more information about it and what the particulars are.
Okay.
Okay, if that would, I don't know how the other board members are feeling.
Is this paid 100% by the employee?
Yes.
Yeah, the problem is it's creating issues managing the paperwork, which the other plans don't, so. My stupid question of the day is, has anyone mentioned to Jim McLaughlin that they're gonna
He
lose this?
knows.
And he hasn't done anything to rectify the matter, like answer the phone when people call?
I've been dealing with MetLife in general, and I just asked them because of the issues that we were having, because I was gonna request that we not do it, that he not offer it at this open enrollment, so they all do know that.
Okay.
And, that's part of the issues.
Okay. They're not very receptive to keeping it?
They kind of do this paperless thing, and it's not really up, the municipal employees aren't really up to speed on the paperless stuff. They like to have the little cards in hand, and they like to be told, they don't like to just be given a web address and told to go look at your benefits.
Yeah, and we all know that change takes time, but I would hope that you would see in the future that it's going to get a little bit easier, at least. It should. It should, if you lived in a...
No.
Should I go into the other issue? Jim, should I go into the other issue or just leave it?
Was that?
Should I tell them the other issue now or just leave it at that for now? Or?
If you got issues before,
Okay.
don't tell them, you're saying a full picture.
The other issue is that I'm not sure that people were totally told the plan they were purchasing. And there's issues with MetLife's plan that the people have and that they've purchased, which is why I'm asking them to strongly. I wasn't in at every meeting. I didn't hear what everyone was told. I know what some people were told, and the plan that was put in place is not necessarily what was told was going to be put in place, and is not necessarily what people thought they were purchasing. That said, some people may not have used that as a reason to purchase it, and there are still some other reasons to purchase it. That's why I just think that people who did buy it, we should leave it be and let them stay with it if they talk to them and they decide that it's a plan they still want to be with. But that's what's been taking up a lot of my time, is the people calling and asking about this, that, and wanting to get things straightened out. And most of it was with the portability issue. They had.
Through the board?
Yep.
Were those the people that come in front of us?
Not you, no.
This
No,
was
not-
You
how many
weren't.
years ago?
This was September of 2013. And then again in November, they were approved to come in November, and then they
Was
went
that the
for...
tape you were gonna look at to see what they did say?
Yeah.
Those people? Did you look at it?
Yes, I did. And on the tape, when they came to see you, they did tell you that the plan would be completely portable, that when they left employment, it was going to be pretty much at the same rates. Not necessarily true.
What is true then?
What is true is that when they do terminate employment, whether it be through retirement, they're certainly welcome to port it. However, what they have to do is, if they want to get preferred rates, which are not necessarily the same as what we pay as an employee group, they have to fill out evidence of insurability, which at a date past when you enrolled, you're probably older, have more health issues, have something diagnosed, and not many of our people have been able to get those preferred rates when they've left employment. And
So this is
the verbiage is.
documented? So why are we just now hearing about it, though?
Because
Well,
we've been.
I'll make I statements. Why am
Yeah.
I just hearing about it?
Well, we've been trying to work with MetLife to see if they were gonna honor the plan that we were told was gonna be put in place. And this is open enrollment and everything, and we just finally got the final say, because I was like, well, if you guys aren't gonna put the plan we want in place in, then we want everyone refunded the past year's premiums if they were paying for a plan they didn't necessarily want, and they said no. So I'm just coming to you now and saying, well, if people want to keep it and they find value to the plan, we want to allow them to continue taking payroll deductions. But
We want to make it clear, I think what the benefits administrator was saying is that although it's not 100% clear, it appears.
Yes.
There may be a question with respect to the convertibility of the plan for employees when they retire, maintaining the rates that were represented, that were presented to the Board of Selectmen when MetLife came in to explain it. We're not saying that they're not accurate, we're just saying that there's some question with respect to their accuracy, and we've had a number of questions and concerns about that. And based on that, the administrator is saying that she's spending an inordinate amount of time trying to respond to those questions, which are beyond any information that she really has to address those concerns. And because of that, she's saying, you know, either have MetLife answer these questions or take it off my plate and let the employees contract directly with MetLife. We'll take the money out, but let them contact MetLife directly. Fair statement?
I'm hearing you say that MetLife isn't answering the questions.
MetLife is responding, and they finally did, they kept us, you know, going through and escalating the issue and this and that, and they finally came back with, we can't change the plan. And then I said, well, if you're not gonna change the plan, I want you to notify everyone how the plan is and give them the option. I want them refunded going back.
Right.
And they said, no, we can't refund either. So I'm saying, then we don't want you to have any more time to be able to take premiums from us if you're not gonna refund it without a proper resolution.
Right.
And this has been going on for months with this, that they just came up with this past few weeks, that it's not gonna, they're not gonna do anything.
Nothing's gonna change. Okay. Are there any do you still want more time to review this?
No, but I would have liked to have known about it as it was coming up. This is last minute, but I understand and appreciate your dilemma.
In that case, you got any questions?
No, I'm all
All
set.
right. I would like to propose a motion to allow the benefits coordinators to stop allowing MetLife to offer their life insurance coverage to is it future town employees or anybody?
Current and town employees
current,
as well,
future,
if they didn't elect it when they did.
But to allow the existing town employees who have the coverage to continue it on their own with, okay.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Now you can go home.
No, I can't, because we have to do the questions on the basic life insurance, which I'm assuming, by the way he was just speaking, that the elected officials are not eligible for the basic life insurance for the 5,000 where the town pays 120. So they're not eligible for that, but they can be eligible for any other, this voluntary, they have to be enrolled in the basic to enroll in that, so they're not
So can they
eligible
go
for
ahead and
that.
sign up for this?
For that, no, but they can sign up for the whole life, they can contact any of our other providers and get coverage. I mean, unless you guys want to say that they can sign up for that MetLife. open enrollment we're halfway through open enrollment, so they don't, and I've asked them on April 30th to get something in writing out to employees and stuff to explain that perhaps they didn't quite understand, and I just got a draft of what they wanted to send the employees yesterday, or today. Yesterday, I saw it today. It came in yesterday.
Okay, and did it meet with your approval?
It just clarifies what the plan is. It doesn't admit that there was anything. They don't, there's no admission of, you were told this. It just says this is what the plan is. So I told them to send that out, but I wanted to send this as well to make sure people did actually get it, because I told them I wanted them to be informed by May 8th there was an issue, and here it is, May 12th, and they haven't even, they may have gone out today, I'm not sure. But it just keeps my phone ringing and my emails coming as they think that we're waiting for MetLife to come up with an answer or an action.
Well, if elected officials want to grab that one, they don't need to understand that it can't be payroll.
Yeah, I mean, they can get it on their own with them. There are a number of other ones. Just to be clear, I don't believe there's that many people who participate in any of the elected officials who participate in these voluntary.
Okay.
I don't think that there's.
I just want to take another thing.
Yeah. No.
It's.
Dental plan, they can continue on that as an employee because it's not through 32. It's not tied to our health and life, and the town pays nothing towards it.
Right.
And they can participate in our deferred compensation program.
Which one is this?
457B. Yeah.
It should be able to.
Okay. Just making sure that. And the other voluntary products, the MetLife Vision, the accident protection, critical illnesses, all 100% paid, short-term disability, all 100% paid by the employee. That's all fine.
Because all of those are issued independent
Yep.
of the policies issued under 32B.
Yep.
Even though 32B authorizes it, the town has chosen to issue them independent of the authority issued under the statute.
Yes, you all set? Thank you.
Yep, I'm good, thank you.
Have a good evening.
And I just want to apologize, I know everything is very short with me.
It's okay.
It's just the way things
You're not going anywhere.
want to be.
No. We're not done with you.
Oh. I thought it wasn't my portion of the agenda.
Oh, you're the only
We've
portion
been
we
through
have left.
everything.
I realize we're about an hour and a half early, but you're really,
Listen, no midnight snacks for you tonight.
all right. I think you got your list here. I'm going to guess 28, 29, 30, 31 are executive.
Correct.
Okay, let's start with.
Yeah, I also have an item 30 that I would add to this, that's part of my agenda, which is.
It's actually 32, if
30.
if I'm reading your mind. That's how.
Do you have 32 there?
32, which is fireworks.
Yeah.
Was that it? Oh,
Yeah, I think that's it.
That would be
The
executive as
investigation,
well.
yeah.
Okay.
It's,
That deals
right,
that deals with employee
yeah,
Right.
that's it.
privacy issues and also attorney-client privilege.
Okay. So why don't we do, start with 25?
25 is the notice from Charter.
Yep.
Charter is just notifying the board that that whole hullabaloo that we went through a few months ago
It's gone.
with Comcast coming in and who was in charge with Comcast and who was going to hold the license and all that stuff, it's all gone. They're not
Okay.
selling to
After all of that.
Comcast. Staying with Charter.
And
so
they,
we
and
can
they
get that.
submitted the balance sheet to us.
Yeah, and then they sent you their statement required by the statute that they have to give you.
The next item is draft mutual aid.
I have had no further discussions with the police chief regarding this document since I was last before the board on this
All right.
matter.
Okay. And then Nadim's.
This is a letter that you received, as the board received from the planning director, questioning the status of the current operators of Nadim's, and I would just suggest that the response would be from the department to forward what we have in the file to indicate, as far as we know, the license holder is operating, and the people who are operating it are operating as his employees.
Okay.
And the Facebook?
Is that-
There was an issue of it being on Facebook.
It's not,
Is it-
it's
is
really
it
not an issue for, as far as we're concerned, unless the board determines that the affidavit that's been submitted is in some case incorrect.
Got it.
All right.
So,
Okay. In that case, I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session to discuss matters of attorney-client privilege, union and non-union collective bargaining. I think that's it, isn't it?
Right to privacy.
Our right to privacy.
conference discussions, attorney-client privilege.
Okay. To return to open, only to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Selectman Thorpe?
Yes.
Selectman Gorman?
Yes.
Selectman Federici, yes. All right.